Sup traders, how y'all doing? Welcome in, much love, Trap here. It is 25, 2023. The daily closes it is in about an hour, and I'm here to trade it. But before, probably too early even, honestly, just 35, 45 minutes. Before we get into the charts, because there's no rush to get to the charts, I want to talk about psychology of beliefs and how I'm examining my beliefs and realizing that a lot of the reason for my unprofitability or unprofitable periods has been from having incorrect beliefs. So, brief history 2020, 2021, I made an amazing amount of money. Also, made really good money end of 2022. The first 9 months of 2022 were a disaster, and the first 3 months of 2023 also been a disaster. All that said, I'm so rich with experience now and knowledge, and you come into trading and you don't know what time frame to trade, what assets to trade, what strategy to trade, what schedule to trade, what setups to trade, or system to trade, who to talk to, who to learn from, what indicators to use. And I'm at a point where I know what asset makes sense to trade, I know what time frame, I know what schedule, I know what setups, I know what I'm putting on my chart, what I'm not putting on my chart. I know to not talk to anyone basically about my trades, and I'm happy. I'm happy where I am. I've learned a whole lot, both experience and knowledge. My Goldilocks right now. It's too cold without the sweater. Too hot with that. Too hot with it on. So certain beliefs have harmed me. So I'm gonna say what the incorrect belief is and what the correct belief. One of them is that if I have a trading edge, I should express it as much as possible. I'll be more profitable. And the reality is that the edge in trading is not in taking more trades, it's in only taking the high probability trades, saying no to everything else. So the reality of expressing my edge would be continuing to not trade very much, right? Take few trades, only high probability trades. And the way that's manifested is this year, I came into this year, I'm going to take more trades this year because I was profitable last year. This year, I'm going to take more trades, I'll be more profitable. Hasn't worked out, and it's an incorrect belief. Like, the correct thing is to trade infrequently, what Mark Minervini calls sit out power. Even a starving cheetah knows not to just charge in there. It has to wait for the opportunity. So even if I really feel like I need to make money, I still need to wait for the opportunity. So that's one of them. The correct is the best way to express your edge is by waiting and not trading. Wait for a better opportunity. Now, yeah, also some of the habits that I've good habits that it's taken a while to get to, but I don't check the price all the time. I'm not on my phone. I don't trade on my phone. I'm not on Twitter. I'm not on Discord. I have a huge amount of time in my life now. And now that I'm limiting my trading to the hour around the daily close, like I have so much time for other things that I can do. So another belief was that it was a good idea to trade full time. It's not a good idea. It makes no sense. So much of the reason to trade is for freedom. And the thing about trading, okay, another belief is that it's a good idea to trade lower time frame because you make more money in the lower time frame. Low time frame is all noise. It's dominated by algorithms. This is the real thing. Most low time frame traders are unprofitable. Generally a scam. It's not. It's not worth doing. It's not smart. It's uh. It's all noise. So when I believe that there's low time frame signals are valid, I also believe that it's the responsible thing to check on my trade often because I might get a low time frame exit signal. And this caused me to be looking at the charts all the time. And then once I'm looking at the charts all the time, I'm more likely to make a bad decision, take an add-on when I shouldn't, or remove or close the trade when I shouldn't. When the truth is really nothing is valid below the daily chart, daily, weekly, and there's no reason. just wait. I have a stop loss for a reason. I have a take profit for a reason. Reevaluate once a day at the daily close is sufficient. And that's why it makes no sense to full-time trade, because the actual active trading should take not very long. Like, I look at my charts, it should be extremely obvious that there's a great setup, or extremely obvious that there isn't a great setup, and it shouldn't take very long. Like, I have enough pattern recognition. Another faulty belief that I thought is like, I need to get as much chart time as possible. Well, it's true that I need to look at a lot of charts to improve my pattern recognition. Watching live price action has nothing to do with that, right? I need to be looking at daily charts, and I can look at daily charts in books. I can look at weekly charts in books. Trading, if I trade daily charts, which is the highest probability thing, there's no reason to watch live price action ever. So I believe that I should be watching live price action, that it's, you can see where the conflict is. I thought it was a good thing to go check in often and watch the live price action. No, it's poison. And this is, belief is super important to behavior modification, where I'm trying to change my behaviors, but they're not changing, and I realize it's because of the beliefs. I need to believe that low time frame is poison, trading outside hours is poison, full-time trading is poison, day trading is poison, and I can and have and will again make tremendous wealth just trading the daily chart. And yeah, it's like, why have I was able to quit smoking weed, quit drinking alcohol, quit coffee, quit processed food, fast food? Not because I forced my behavior, but I came to believe these things are poison, right? So it's important that I believe that these things are poison. So um, we're 2 days into the week, and however the week goes financially, so far I'm extremely happy with my performance. It's only 2 days, but I've done a great job of not trading outside of the daily close, not checking price outside of the daily close. Good job, Travis. Awesome. And I've done it despite my car being at the shop. So I can't go, I could, but I haven't gone to the farm. I have all this free time. I'm finding other things to do with it. But yeah, it's a good idea to go. Yeah, it'll be even easier when I have my car. It's going to be even easier next week when I have my timed lockers and I can throw my laptop and have zero temptation because it's locked for 24 hours. If I have a problem with my phone, I can throw my phone in the locker too, and not worry about it. Yeah, and I think going back to work is also, I could think about starting another business or firing up an old business. Something that really helped in 2020 and 2021 is I had so many streams of income. I was working full time. I had my Magic the Gathering subscription business. I had a habit coaching business or practice, really, because I'm working one for one on that one. I was getting stimulus checks, and I was just funneling it from the government, right? They were giving out money, and I'm just funneling it all into my portfolio. And now it's like the opposite, where I have no business and part-time work, and there's so much more financial stress. So I'm not sure what the answer is yet. I don't need to figure it out today, but going back to work is part of that and a lot of it. Now, I'm interested to see what happened. It's an hour before it close, and it's still like earlier than I need to be. But I took a trade yesterday, and I took it with somewhat great size, not crazy size, like 1%, a little over 1% in my portfolio. And whatever happens, I'm happy because it's an A plus trade setup. We had a sweeping candle that took out Bitcoin took out three lows and came up and closed with like a doji. Wasn't quite a pin bar because the start of the day went up, but the last 12 hours was a really nice pin bar. That's an A plus setup. In my back testing, it's 70+% chance of not only winning but having multiple R multiple. Um, so whatever happens with that, it's a good trade. Now I really hope that it's a winner just because of behavior modification. This is one of the hardest things about trading is because of variable results. A lot of the time you get rewarded for doing the wrong thing. You do something bad and you make some money, and then it reinforces it. And then a lot of the time you get punished for doing the right thing, which discourages you from doing the right thing. And so I just hope that I get rewarded for doing the right thing here. We'll see though. Um, yeah, I'm 100% confident that the correct thing was to put on that trade and to use reasonable size on that. Whether I have not that much 70% confidence that it will be a winner, right? Because those are the odds that I know for back testing. Um, yeah, and also one of the things that I learned is like even losing can be addictive because even when you lose, you experience the excitement and hope of putting on a trade. It feels like you're going to make money, and then you go through this emotional roller coaster. And when you lose, you get relief. So that really sucks. Is that you get rewarded for losing. So this is how people can just be chronic losers and blow up their account because and are like stressful. The money goes to zero. Why don't they stop? Because they're getting rewarded as they go. So while I am happy that this week I've limited my trading and I acted on a signal. It's easy to act on signals. What's hard is to not act when there's no signal. So that's something that I'm interested in seeing how I do is when there's no signal, can I be disciplined and patient and do nothing? So we'll see. We're gonna get to the charts now and see what happened. And I have an hour until the close, which it's really more time than is necessary. I think this really only requires 30 minutes, and starting early is actually probably not ideal because it means that I'm more likely to enter early. But right now, there's 23 out of 24 of the daily candle is done. But the candle is 96% complete, so pretty close. Okay. Okay. What was Monday? It was 424, I think. 424. See how many red X's? Like I've been really bad for a while. So what have I done good? Waited until schedule, acted on A plus setup, stayed within schedule. Okay, so far today I've waited until schedule. Okay, make the most money possible from the least amount of daily time investment. Okay, let's go look at the charts. Perfect. So I went big long, and we're up how much? It's also like this is gonna be a whole do nothing type of day. So I got rewarded for correct behavior. MT5, and I'm gonna check my P&L because this stuff matters. So my losing one, it's a shot in the dark. Like I'm using all my margin here. I have phase one. This one I only risk small because I'm running out of time. Oh no, this is one I risked big. Okay, we're up over 1R, and then also have this one. This account. I didn't risk very much in this one. And then Bybit, I'm up a little over 1R. Okay, that's enough. Thank you, I got rewarded. It was an A plus setup, and yeah, I'm glad I didn't watch on the low time frame because where did I enter actually? I entered right here, yeah. And yeah, there's no reason to watch. So I will point out, I don't care, but I did have the consideration that price might come back to one of these, to this area. and that setting a limit might be smart, but I do not care. I'm not sure that price got there, did it? No, I don't think it did actually. Ah, yeah, just barely. I don't care. I want to be on the trade. I don't. Yeah, I could have risked. Okay. Actually, well, at the least, I'm gonna advance my stop to break even. I'm gonna pause for a minute here. Um, let's analyze. So I will say that relative strength saved me. I'm glad that I longed Bitcoin and not ETH, because ETH actually would have stopped me out here, because it swept the low and extra time. There also is possible warning sign where ETH didn't really break out, although it's still long, and Bitcoin um, is failing to get over this level. On the daily. I'm not sure how much that matters though. Okay, well, let's go and we're gonna look at a lot of charts. I have an hour, I have a lot of time. So let's start with the naked monthlies. The naked monthly is still a short. Previous monthly is long. I would say the current monthly is still a short, but it's improved quite a bit. Let's look at the weekly. The previous weekly was a short. To me, the current one is a long. We took the bottom and we're green so far. So short, short, long. Previous day signal for Bitcoin was a short. Sorry, it was a long here. And I believe the current signal is also a long because we're holding above this. I'm not convinced this is super important. It might be. So, okay. Now, ETH also has back-to-back longs, although we're not holding above this, so it's not doing quite as well, but ETH also has back-to-back longs. I could consider adding on. Did candle, current one, we have long trend, and we have long reversal on ETH. Did candle reverse color? Yes, green. Doesn't matter. I'm just gonna mark green. Candle body versus wick. We have a big wick on both of them. Big wick on bottom, both of them. Levels swept or ran. Bitcoin is ran one and swept one, so that's neutral. ETH swept one. Current 12-hour signal. Let's look at the 12-hour. This is such an efficient system too. I mean, both of them are long. Okay, we're gonna look now at resistance and support trend lines. Let's go to the daily. Resistance. If we go to the weekly, like, I guess we could use, I'm gonna go back to my live trade chart for this. Throw on a couple possible trend lines. There's one. Here's another one. That one's kind of good actually. I kind of like that one. Yeah. So on Bitcoin, where are we? What is that? I'm gonna drop to the 12-hour to look. I mean, we're breaking out. We bounced off support, although I just drew this. Second bounce is good. Support trend line, second bounce is good. Third is not as good. Resistance trend line, breaking out. This is a potential add scenario. I'd be interested in adding on ETH, possibly. Although I want to look at the chart, and it's not necessarily like I need to be patient and not feel compelled to do things. Okay, ETH on the 12-hour. Yeah, that looks good. Something like this. Okay. Back to the current price action. Go to a little bit lower time frame. We appear to have bounced off support. Breaking out, second bounce. Okay, let's look at HY block. One month, starting with the 1 month. I just love my system. It's so to the point. Okay, this is why. Like perfectly took this. Okay. I'm gonna look at the 7-day. It's a little bit less relevant, but 1 month. Okay. HY block. Cleared lows. The 7-day is, I guess, coming into an important area. So there may be a world where we eat this liquidity and turn around, but I want to base this off the higher time frame. 3 months. We cleared it, but the bigger is below, so that's something to pay attention to. Okay. And then let's look at the 6 months. Same thing. But still, like, taking one target I think is fine. One year. What? Why is it doing this? Okay, I don't know why it's doing that. Okay, but we got our HY block reading. Liquidity all clear exhaustion. We did have that. Let's look at exchange flows, see if there's anything unusual. Net flow total. So one thing that's predicting a bottom is this huge Ethereum outflow. It's the third biggest of the year. And it's the fourth that there was like a large outflow. Each time preceded a markup in price. So that's something to pay attention to. Although Bitcoin is not really matching that. Bitcoin is more neutral right here. There's net coming onto exchange, but not a huge amount. I want to see if we got 1 year. Here they were coming onto exchange right before a big run up, so there was also a lot coming onto an exchange here, and price is still moving up, so I'm not sure how much it matters. Exchange flows would be for ETH is bullish, for Bitcoin is neutral. Okay, now let's look at ETH BTC. There's no reason to long ETH here because we're not at a place where it makes sense to bounce. So we're just short on both. So I wouldn't long ETH. Short, short, long, long. Okay, now we're going to check the news. Don't want analysis. I want to see if there's a catalyst. Okay. Microsoft Alphabet post earnings. Okay. Dow falls. I need to check the other charts and see. What else? Bitcoin news. Anything? Bitcoin halving. It's a way to go. Okay, just analysis. No fundamental catalyst. This is a bullish catalyst actually. News is lots of ETH staked. Okay. That's bullish. Muse. Heavy staking flows. It's a supply dynamic, and also it is a narrative. Okay, so let's look at all the long confluence. Definitely looks good to okay to hold. I'm gonna advance my stop just in case. Total 3 looks okay. ETH dominance, Bitcoin dominance, trending higher. Bullish on the week. We encountered resistance in this region, but it looks like we might actually clear it. The dollar. Dollar had a big green day actually, and it has a weekly pin bar, which would be a reversal for Forex markets, so that's quite interesting. Although it's not really that correlated to Bitcoin, I'm just paying attention. We found quite a lot of support in this area. Okay, we have weekly pin bar so far. Bearish engulfing. Both times we got in this area, the euro had a bearish engulfing. It's happened twice now. I'm not going to trade Forex, but just want to observe day by day. Same situation, bearish engulfing, bearish engulfing. bearish pin bar on the weekly for GBP, and we failed to clear these highs 1, 2, 4 straight weeks now. That's super interesting. Okay, and then AUD. Whoa, what happened? Big red. AUD has really failed, and it looks weak. Australian dollar. Yeah, I had bearish engulfing right here. We had a pin bar, but it wasn't at maybe the right place. Okay, let's look at the indices. That's super interesting. Huge red day. Does this affect my desire to be long Bitcoin? Not really. I mean, it's possible we chop around here. I can think about where to advance my stop to, but that's super interesting. Then on the daily, although it's not necessarily bearish because we took out these lows, and as is, we've come back in. So like, this is possibly actually a buying opportunity, not a selling opportunity. But I mean, it doesn't look good. It looks like this would be a no trade. Where are we going to break down, or are we going to break up, or are we going to sweep the lows? Don't know. It's not really a huge red day. It's down 1%, but yeah, that's interesting. NASDAQ, but like, look, an hour later, look where we gapped up. Like, huge gap up. Sweeping. Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. Like, we've really been failing to consolidate for so long. You know what's really interesting is the Russell almost going to new lows. Like, it's barely above the 2022 lows by 5%. That's super interesting. Dow Jones. I mean, the momentum's certainly down, but I'm just looking at charts right now. I like holding, there's no signal, and oftentimes Bitcoin's like leading. But yeah, I mean, we're seeing potential reversal here. But what is the trend still? Still seems to be up. Okay, news. It says new calendar, edit. Economic news calendar this week. CB consumer confidence. Okay, 30 minutes still close. Yeah, I think an hour is probably is good. Because there actually is a lot to go through. AUD. Interesting that's the currency is tanking before CPI. Wednesday, nothing. Tomorrow. Thursday, GDP, quarter over quarter. Okay, that's important. And then Friday. Okay. Now I'm gonna spend a little. I'm probably gonna do nothing but advance my stops here. The other option would be to long Bitcoin, but I don't really like that because of coming in right here. But it might be still pretty good. Like, there's so much that says long. So what might that look like? Mm, so it's a different environment, but this candle looks like before the very big dump last year. It looks like this candle, right? Sort of. I mean, that was a much more serious downtrend. But yeah, we had a sweep of the lows on this day, broke out. Next day, big red. And part of the tell was that we swept. So I think the correct thing is probably advance stops and do nothing. I don't really like taking profit here because everything looks poised for a breakout. But if I were to long, let's look at that. It would be something like this, and I would just add on. Let's look at where we might have a possible pullbacks to. On the lower time frame. So I'm not on the lower time frame to look for a signal. I'm on the lower time frame to look at where price action might come back to. I don't love that we just wick this, but that's not very convincing. It's low volume. And in the next 30 minutes, maybe we could get over that. And if we did, I probably would add on, advance my stops, and put my stop down here with the expectation that this should protect us. Regardless, I will advance my stops to that. I wanted to look at earnings news, and then I want to tear through some daily charts. Okay. So we have good earnings from the big tech companies. Interesting. Okay. Earnings from First Republic renewed fears about the banking sector. Interesting. Okay. Stay off the low time frames. Probably not safe to do this. ETH's quite interesting where it's showing relative weakness for sure. Um, I do want to actually go in the low time frame and check the volume of this candle. Had pretty good volume. Just perfectly took this out. So yeah, I'm glad I didn't long there. We also took out this high and are pulling back, but that's just like the first resistance. I wouldn't necessarily expect a rejection there when we have so much liquidity above, but there's also the possibility of a trend reversal across markets, across the dollar, based on just being, there's so much exuberance, there's recession fears, so on. Big red on the stock and the indices. So I want to be a little bit cautious to that. And we had an A plus setup yesterday. Arguably, we have an A plus setup today too, actually, with ETH sweeping here. Let's look at the 12-hour on ETH BTC. It just doesn't look like it should pump here, but maybe it could mean revert somewhere. I kind of want to long ETH because I really prefer longing actually a breakout, sorry, a reversal rather than a breakout. So we have a reversal on ETH, right? I would do something like this. And I would just aim for a new equal high. I would aim for that high up there. I think I might do that actually across certain accounts. Just aim for this one. I also don't really like that Bitcoin swept something here. Like it's pretty low time frame. It doesn't necessarily matter, but it might. Okay, stay off the low time frame. So to me, it's probably actually is once again an A plus setup where Bitcoin is broken above 1, 2, 3 the previous day's highs, the 3 previous days' highs, and ETH swept the low again, and as a reversal day on a nice pin bar that turned green. So I probably will actually do that. Thinking about how to best manage my risk. It's an A plus setup, actually. It is. And just because I'm in a position doesn't mean I shouldn't take it. Okay, let's just tear through some daily charts. Apple gapped down on good earnings, or gapped up and then down on good earnings. So weird. Well, this isn't necessarily what you like to see, right? Like, we're in an uptrend, but it's also a likely place for a reversal. So weird. Yeah, Microsoft had good earnings. And also, this is a place for reversal at resistance. Google. Amazon. Everything's red today except for Bitcoin and Ethereum. It's weird. This isn't necessarily a breakdown, though, on some of these. Like, it could also be just a retest of the lows, right? Oh, yeah, and then after hours. Let's look at after hours. Oh, yeah, after hours. Microsoft way up. Interesting. Oh, yeah, Amazon as well. That's why, like, there's a huge gap up in an hour on the NASDAQ. Meta. Well, does it make sense to... Let's just look at weeklies. PepsiCo just pushing higher. Costco, coiling. Cisco Systems. So this is like when I want chart time, it should be this, right? My chart time should not be watching watching live price action because I don't trade live price action. Adobe, Texas Instruments. Big red on a lot of things today. Not everything. Intuit. Did Intuit have earnings? No. Yeah, a lot of things. Just big red today. This one's interesting. Like, why is it at all-time highs? Mondelez. What is it? I'm curious. Mondelez International. Food company. Beverage and snack. I don't know why beverage companies are doing so well. Related, I kind of want to check out Celsius. No. Celsius is on this list anyways. Again though, like if I look at, yeah, after hours is green, but just depends what you hold, right? Like some assets haven't done well, some have done well. The beverage companies are doing great. Okay, was there some catalyst for the sell-off today? Like why? Baidu. Just how random are these charts compared to the crypto charts? Feels quite random. Yikes. Okay. It's crazy that Coke, yeah, I don't know why, like, the beverage companies are like all at all-time highs. I mean, I guess it's something people will always drink is sugary caffeinated beverages. To me, that's like a sign of the weakness of society of the leading stocks are PepsiCo, Coca-Cola. It's a weak society. This is bizarre. Okay. I mean, it shouldn't matter to me that the indices are down. It's so weird though. Russell down. That these other things like could it should it affect the big time? I kind of just want to play the charts as they are. Ignore that other stuff. What did ETH do today? ETH swept the low again, turned green, breaking out. I'm going to do it. But I need to think about how to manage my risk. Right. I think a 2.5% risk makes sense. Or in terms of, sorry, 2.5% stop loss makes sense. So on a lower time frame, we did sweep something, but again, Well, maybe that downgrades it from an A plus to an A. Okay, like, let's look at my chart. Try to be objective, because part of it's like waiting for. This is an A plus setup on ETH. I'm sorry, it definitely is. Closes in 20 minutes. It's for sure an A plus setup on ETH. And then Bitcoin looks good too. I do care that it swept that, but it's not enough to shake me out of the position. There's not a huge amount of liquidity right here. There's some. So for Bitcoin, I can advance my stop to, I would put my stop right under this, right around the low of the day. Not the low of the day, but the low, like, I think what would make sense is I look at this, the origin of the pump, put my stop right under here. Again, I am seeing that we did sweep something, but it's not a high of range. It's an old red day. I think if anything, we could expect a possible pullback, and it's like not really a convincing sweep at all. We took this down here. Just kind of makes sense to do it. So let's look at ETH. It would be about the same idea where our stop would be. Throwing a fair value gap below here. Okay, so first thing I'm going to go advance my stops. I have a bunch of accounts to do it in. Okay, modify. So my stop loss is going to be moved up to where is that line? 27,530. Okay. Stop loss. 27,530. So I'm in profit. Stop loss 27,530. So I'm taking all the risk out. Okay, this account I cannot add more because I'm fully margined. And my goal for this is, it's unlikely to get there, but if we get another 3R off this, then I can get a free redo. 530. Okay, this one, I can risk around 1,000. Stop loss. This one I'm willing to go into drawdown because if I don't go into drawdown, I'm gonna get a free retry in a couple weeks. Okay, and then we'll go to this one. Free trial swing. No, the other one, 27,530. This one I don't know that it makes sense to put on more risk. Because if this one moves, I think I just win. Okay, it's at 2. Well, I need another. I think it's probably okay to do. Just think about how much I want to put on for ETH. I want to see some movement from ETH BTC, but I'm going to do it just because to me, like, it might not work at all. saying no strength at all. I'm kind of predicting something I don't. Maybe it doesn't make sense, and I should add on Bitcoin or not. Trade ETH. I just feel like I strongly prefer trading a sweep to a breakout. Although the last time Bitcoin had a breakout and ETH had a sweep was on, what was it, this day? The 9th, where we had a sweep and then a breakout, and then the next day Bitcoin was big green and ETH didn't really move that well, but I think I'm going to do it. To me, that's A+. So I'm going to risk on ETH again. To me, it's A+. It bothers me that the dollar looks the way it does, and it bothers me that the indexes look the way they do. I like that big wick though, actually. So we're going to do it. I'm going to start off with 2,000 on that 0.025. This is the value that I'm going to put on ETH. We have my A+ set up. I'm going to do it. Okay. And we're right on time too. Now, the first account I cannot do anything on. This one I can risk about 1,250. No, not this one. The first one. No, not this one. That one I can risk more if I want to. So, okay, we're going to risk 1,250 on a 0.025 stop. When the price is about 1867. So I'm going to risk, my position size is going to be this. I'll come back and think about the stop loss in a minute. Well, I know where the stop loss is, but mark the stop loss. Buy market. Okay, then the last one is, do I want to risk in this other account? Phase 1, true. Phase 1. I can't. If I do, I think so. I will just reduce my targets. It'll make it so much easier to pass. Because right now, all I need to pass is about a 4R, but I can make it I only need the price to go like not very far. So we'll do that too. I'm going to risk, say, 2,000 on it. Okay, so this one, ETH, new order, volume. Did I do a buy market? I'm afraid I accidentally did sell by market on the other one. Phase 1. So I already advanced my stops. Okay. Now I'm going to mark my stop loss is going to be 1819. Stop loss is going to be 1819. And my I take profit. I'm aiming just above the highs. Where is it? Actually. $21.70. And then, of course, I will exit way earlier if I get an exit signal. And again, whatever happens, this is an A+ setup, so I can't be mad if it doesn't work. And I took the risk out of the other position, so now I have just huge position. This one, modify or delete. What was it again? 1819. And my take profit is going to be, my take profit doesn't need to be that far because I'm just looking to win something. So I'm going to say 1983 because I don't need that much to pass this. Okay, so I have stop loss on this one. I have stop loss on this one. I have a stop loss on this one. I'm confident that this is an A+ setup. We have a big green that's breaking out. We have a sweep of these lows. We're holding above these highs. We did sweep this, but it shouldn't matter that much, and we're just barely under it, and it's a big green candle. ETH, I longed ETH. It's possible, there's a good chance Bitcoin will outperform, but I longed ETH because I prefer to long a sweep than a trend, especially the trend following the sweep. ETH should break out. I also really like that ETH has really strong exchange outflows, which oftentimes precedes a big move. And the liquidity profile definitely favors a move up on ETH. And yeah, maybe my stop isn't in the absolute best place, but it's in a pretty good place. It's an A+ setup. I'm going to take it. I don't really love that, again, what some of the other charts look like, but they don't matter because I do not trade those charts and I don't use them for Confluence. But NASDAQ is on the 12-hour. It is a big wick. Like there is upward momentum. So I did it, and we're just coming up on the close in 5 minutes here. And I think, again, whatever happens, I can feel okay about. Like, I don't feel that I over-risked. According to my criteria, this is an A+ trade setup. And whatever happens from here happens. Oops, 5 minutes. I entered right here around 1867. And then I need to not look for the rest of the day. Could pull back here, could pull back here. I'm not going to do it now, but in retrospect, this might be a good place for a limit order since we took a minor level here. Even looking for a pullback to right here probably would have been fine. Or to maybe just poking this one time. Price should come down here and probably poke this. So maybe that was, yeah, I'm gonna get back into considering limit orders. That would have been a good place to use a limit order, I think, from the lower time frame, but it's fine. Again, this is to me it's A plus. This is what you want to see, a big sweep, huge, really long protracted downtrend, and then a big high volume sweeping candle right here, breakout reversal. Yeah, and yeah, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. It's possible we get a reversal and the setups that have been working won't work here. That's definitely possible. Any previous time in the year, the setup is working though. And I mean, typically in general, even during this period, these setups worked where we have sweeping. Uh, Sweeping pin bar should do something. Wherever it goes, we will see. We will see. My stops are advanced. I would say there's a possibility we just sweep yesterday's high and come right back down. I think it's uh, sort of unlikely. Doesn't really matter, but I could have gotten I guess a slightly better entry by just waiting a couple minutes, but it is what it is. All right, now the challenge is to again do nothing until tomorrow at the same time, but I think I like this routine. An hour is just enough. Okay, much love and peace.